Well, hello, welcome again to our reading of Plato's Crito, and I got up to this section here, which is 53, just almost at the beginning, well, at the beginning of 53d, and I'm calling this the second half of chapter 15, so 15b. So he begins, al ek men tuton ton topon ap ares. Now this is still the laws personified here, speaking to Socrates. So they've said basically, are you going to go off to a place which is well governed? And the laws give reasons why that's not going to work very well. And then the laws pick up on that and say, but... and it's a question. Now the main participle here is the verb here is ap ares. This is a future from ap iro. Now it has the sense of to travel on from somewhere, or perhaps to keep away from somewhere. So will you keep away from these places then? An interesting verb in the Septuagint, apairo, has the sense of to pick up stumps and move somewhere else, and it's kind of got that sense here as well. So will you then depart or keep away from these places, but hexes, will you go into Thessaly, paratus xenus, to the friends, the ones of Crito? And Crito has mentioned Thessaly earlier in the dialogue, that he has plenty of friends there and they would welcome him if he went there. Eke gar de pleiste ataxia kai akolasia. So for there indeed there is much, now lovely expression here, much disorder, and akolasia is lack of self-control, so wantonness. So there is there much disorder and wantonness. Isos an hedios soi akoien. So akuoien. So this is from optative from akuo, and perhaps literally you would hear. They would hear you sweetly. Literally. So paraphrase it, and perhaps they would listen pleasantly to you. They would enjoy listening to you. Hose, how. The main verb is apadidraskes, how you ran away. It's an imperfect here. How you escaped or you ran away from the prison. Geloios is an adverb meaning laughably, absurdly. So how laughably you ran away from the prison. And peritheminos, from peritithemi, in the middle, how you put around yourself tina skuain. Often translated as, I think some translators say disguise here, but it's a very vague word, skue, in the feminine. So I think perhaps garb, I think it's referring to clothing. So putting on a certain garb, either diphtheran, either having taken a diphthera. Now a diphthera is a peasant's coat. It's a fairly common word in Aristophanes, for example. So having taken a peasant's coat, or other such things as indeed, hoi apodidraskontes, those who run away, iothasin, are accustomed en sku adzesthai, to adorn themselves in. So we get that skue root again from we have up here. So those who are running away are accustomed to adorn themselves here. And metalaxas, aorist participle from metalasso, having altered toskema tosautu, your appearance. Now we get a hoti here, and when you've got a sentence beginning with hoti, you should always read through to the end of the sentence, because there may be something that's governing this hoti, and there is here. It's all the way down here. It's udes hos ere. So it's a rather long and slightly complicated sentence. So it's something like, it's a question. So is there no one who will say, haughty, that an old man, a geron aner, now we get a genitive absolute, there being little of time remaining for his life. Hos to akos is idiomatic here. It's something like probably. So is there no one who will say that an old man, when there is presumably or probably or supposedly very little life left for him, or very little time left for his life, Parabas, having transgressed the greatest laws, that being an old man, you dared to desire to live, huto bliskros, thus greedily. This is a funny word. The word literally means glutinous, but it comes to mean greedy, and there are variant readings here, one of which is iskros, to live disgracefully. So just to put that together, so is there no one who will say that an old man, an old man, presumably there not being much time left for your life, by transgressing the greatest laws, that you dared to desire to live so greedily? Issos, well, perhaps there is. An me tina lupes, an possibly for an here, I would have thought. So perhaps if you do not grieve anyone. So perhaps that's okay if you do not cause anyone any grief. Aidame, otherwise, O Sokrates, akuse, now this is the middle second person from akuo, you will hear. Now Greek likes to separate off adjectives. We say many unworthy things. Greek says many and unworthy things about yourself. So otherwise, O Sokrates, you will hear many unworthy things about yourself. Hup kominos de biose pantas anthropus kai doluain. Well, it's something like, now the hup kominos has the sense of, it's literally coming from under, and it has this extended meaning of cringing on or fawning on. So indeed, you will live your life cringing before, or perhaps fawning on, all men, kai duluon, and being a slave. Now we get a dash here from the editor showing that the grammar breaks a bit. The sentence is not finished. Doing what thing? Perhaps something like other than. So what will you do other than you okumenos? This is a participle from euokio. It simply means to feast. So feasting in Thessaly. So what will you do other than feasting in Thessaly? Hosper, as though apedemekos, perfect participle here. So as though you had gone abroad to Thessaly, epidapnon, to a dinner party, literally to a dinner. Logoi de ekanoi hoi peri de kai asunes de kai ales aretes puestin esontai. And I'll take the end bit first. So where will those arguments, those debates, those discussions regarding righteousness and any other and the other virtue, where will it be for you? In other words, what will happen to those arguments of yours, those debates regarding righteousness and other virtue? Allah, now we get a change of idea here, Allah day, but in fact, Boule, and it's a question still, do you wish to live Henica tone Pidone on account of your children, literally account of the children, in order that ekthrepses you might rear them and you might educate them? Tide, what then? Agagon is the aorist participle from ago, leading them to Thessaly. Will you rear them and will you educate them? Having made them xenus, having made them foreigners. Hina, in order that, now this is sarcastic here, I think, Hina kai tuto apalao sosin, this is from apalao, to derive benefit from, in order that they also might derive benefit from this, that is, being turned into exiles. So it's meant to be sarcastic there here. A tutomen u, or perhaps you will not do this. So, or you will not do this. Now, there's a change of subject here. These are all passives. So, trefum menoi, being looked after, autu is that here, that localized form from autos, in this very place. So, being looked after here, genitive absolute, you've got to supply on top. No, the genitive absolute, it's there, suit sontos, you being alive. So if you are alive and they are being looked after here, they will be reared and they will be educated, beltion, better, comparative here. Yet another genitive absolute, me sunontos su autois, you not being present with them. Hoi ga epi te deoi, hoi soi epi mele sontai auton. So we get another question here. For your friends, will your friends be the one, will they have a care, will they look after them for you? So will these friends of yours look after them for you? Now we get a potter on, but there's no a here, so it's a kind of question, but we do get e'an and e'an. So it's something like inquire whether, with the e'an, if you go abroad to Thessaly, they will care for them, but if well, perhaps not. It's a question here. So, so it's something like, perhaps, do you know whether, if you go into Thessaly, go abroad into Thessaly, that they will look after them? But if you go abroad, ace, haidu, you've got to supply oikon here, to the house of Hades, they will not look after them. Apege Theophilus auton estin. So it's if indeed now the get is emphatic and so is the pair. So if indeed there is some ophilos, some assistance, some help from them, from those fascontone, participle from fasco, those claiming to be your friends, or yes, they get cray, you must know, it is necessary for you to know. And that probably, again, goes with that potter on up here. even though there's a break in the punctuation. So in other words, you really should find out whether they're going to look after them no matter what. The verb fasco is an iterative from fami. It means to claim or to say, but you don't know it's a fact, to claim. So just to do that bit again. So it's something like, do you know whether if you go abroad to Thessaly, they will look after them? But if you go into the house of Hades, if you go abroad into the house of Hades, they will not look after them? But if in fact there is some ophilos, some help, assistance from them, some benefit from them, from those who are claiming to be your friend, then you must find this out. You must know this, in fact. And that's the end of chapter 15.